Hey, fantastic fam. Welcome to our community where we combine the woo and the work. We are two professional women who believe we can have it all and constantly upgrade ourselves to meet our visions. I'm Kalyani and I've chosen the off-roading path to personal development, being an entrepreneur with the journey of motherhood. I'm an economics postgraduate and I love working with all things mind and money. I've founded and sold one business and I'm now building this business that feels like fun and freedom for life.
Hi, I'm Rupali. I'm a numbers nerd turned Reiki master and many other things. I found a passion for all things wellness. I've worked in banking and finance for 15 years and I love combining that knowledge with all things energetics to create impact in a fun, easy way for others. Join us as we share the behind the scenes of us creating wealth, freedom and magic. Hi everyone. So today we are going to explore what words we use. We're going to raise awareness about how we talk, how we think, and how we feel. And it's mainly going to be how we talk, but it all stems from how we think and how we feel also. So, as we all know, most people know that words hold some kind of power, they hold a frequency, they may lift you up or bring you down, they may feel light or heavy. Different people think about it in different ways, different things trigger different people. So it's really quite general, but there's a few phrases that I've come across that people say a lot, and what I've heard growing up as well, that may be kind of repelling money and maybe repelling a life that is full of abundance, ease, and flow when it comes to financials or finances. How many people, or how many times in a day or a week, or do you say, "I can't afford that"? Or if someone says, or even phrases like, "It's not worth it. It's way too expensive. I'll never be able to afford that." "Oh, that's not for me. That's for others." All of those sentences kind of fall into the same group. So observe how many times you say that. And if this is where it becomes really important to be aware. So understand when you end up saying these words, how frequently do you say it, what circumstances bring you to say these things, and really just be aware about it. Then there are certain simple phrases that you could replace it with. Say like, "I cannot wait until I can afford this." How can I afford this? Not how could I or how dare I? I'm not capable. But how can I? How will I be able to? Spin it in the positive. What should I do to be able to afford it? Or to be able to buy it? More often than not, affordability is very subjective. So it's really about the mindset. And also if your bank balance doesn't reflect it, it's about really having that positive growth mindset when it comes to these things, and really thinking, how can you get better than this? If you feel like you're in a really dire situation where you genuinely don't have money in your bank account, then how can you get better than this? So you're focusing on the better. If it's an excellent situation and you love it, don't limit yourself to that situation. How can you get better at this? So it's really about being open to more. By saying, "I cannot afford this," you're really blocking your money, basically. You're repelling money. You're not letting it, breathe around you. So become aware of these phrases. Then things like, "Money doesn't grow on trees." I know that I grew up hearing that from friends and family, mainly the older generation. "Money doesn't grow on trees. We can't waste it. Money doesn't grow on trees. That's not, splurge. It's not worth it. Money doesn't grow on trees." So what is something you can replace that thought or that sentence with? You can say something like, or feel or think something like, "Money flows to me easily." Really cultivate a mindset of abundance. And, just let yourself feel that. Because by saying money doesn't grow on trees, you're limiting your situation. It feels heavy. It doesn't feel good. When you don't feel good, you really don't operate at your optimal best. So it's really about changing the narrative we keep telling ourselves. And we've told ourselves certain narratives for many years. So it's really about being patient. Be patient with what you say. Be patient with how you feel. Be patient with how many times you may repeat certain things. Because if it's taken many years, at least give yourself a few days or a few months to try and shift that narrative, right? Then the last section, or the last kind of sentence that I was thinking of that people say a lot of, is I'm always broke. I never have money. If it comes, it goes. I can never keep it. My salary comes and goes. And then they make jokes about their financial situation. I think, well, jokes have their place in the world, but a lot of the time, jokes do represent some truth. And by saying and joking and laughing about these things, it's really not helping you or anyone around you. And at some point, it's not even funny. So, I'm always broke. What do you replace it with? I'm learning how to manage my finances every day. Better every day. I'm more than capable of earning more money and it exponentially increasing. I'm capable of changing my situation. I have the skills. If you don't have the skills, I can learn the skills. So it's really about focusing on the growth and progress rather than the limitations that we always tend to focus on. And we say it so normally in our kind of day-to-day that you don't even realize you're doing it until you really sit and think about it. So how is it that you can bring more awareness to the way you talk about money? I hear people saying, oh, I don't have that kind of money, or and it's so commonly said because one of two reasons. One, the first one, more common reason is that people genuinely have limiting beliefs around money that they've grown up with. And another one is that another belief that some of us grew up with is the stigma of saying you have money. So it was almost taught to us to be that it's better to say you don't have money or to not show off, basically. And not showing off doesn't mean you have to say the opposite and say you don't have money, but you get what I mean. So I think really just for the next few days, think about what you say, how you talk about money, what you think about money when you're shopping, what thoughts go through your mind. When your kid asks you for money, what thoughts go through your mind? What do you tell them? Really bring awareness to the situation so that you can really take control of it and change the narrative, change the story. Because you keep telling yourself the same story over and over and over again. It's time to break the patterns. It's time to really experiment and explore different ways of being and allowing more into our lives. Let's stop blocking it through these words. That brings us to the end of this episode. If you have thoughts or any experiences you want to share, please do so on our social media. Our handles are shared below.
We would really appreciate your feedback as reviews on the podcast app you tune in from. Support us also by sharing this podcast with 3 of your besties who would benefit from being fantastic.